Hello, everyone. First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here. And I want to just take a moment with everybody to just breathe and ground ourselves. And I want to give thanks, first of all, to the ancestors of this land that we're on. I want to give thanks to all of you for showing up and being here, and for all of your ancestors who are here with you. And I want to give thanks to my co-panelists, Heidi, Nick, and Valley. And I want to give thanks to Lana back there. Thank you so much for everything. And I want to give thanks to everyone who's participated in putting on this dream conference. And thanks to my ancestors for being here. So, once again, like Valley said, my name is Teresa, and I'm a graduate of the Indigenous Mind program at Naropa University. And so let me tell you a little bit about what the Indigenous Mind program is. What's that? It's a master's program where students study and research their own indigenous tribal ancestors' earth-based spiritual traditions within a Western academic framework. Disillusioned by the way Western science actually works and what my dreams of being an environmentalist were, I left my job working at UC Davis, where I was working with fish, to attend the Indigenous Mind program, where I focused on indigenous science and ancestral dreaming. And that's the title of my thesis, Remembering Our Future, the Search for the Salmon of Wisdom. So in the Indigenous Mind program, students individually and collectively go through a deep decolonization and ancestral remembrance process. And this is especially important for those of us who are of European ancestry, because we are more removed and disconnected from our indigenous roots, or even having an awareness that we have indigenous ancestors. And this is a quote from my teacher and mentor, Dr. Pila Colorado, who founded the Indigenous Mind program, with advice given to her by elders. It says, "The elders told me I should work with the white man to teach him. Initially, I thought that the elders were pushing me away because of my mixed blood, but they said to me, the problems of this country can be healed when the white man remembers who he is. Then we can sit down as equals and talk." And Apila is a Oneida, French, Cherokee, and Celtic ancestry, so he's mixed blood. So recovery of the indigenous mind involves an honest examination of the historical process for splitting the Western mind. It means grieving the genocidal patterns of colonialism and confronting internalized colonial patterns. It requires ending one's personal addiction to progress. It calls for honoring spirits that have been neglected for centuries. And this is a picture of actually one of our residencies. While in the program, we have two residencies in Maui, and that's actually where Apila lives, where it's a multicultural group of students that come, and part of it's about being on the land of Maui, so you're really connecting with the land, the ancestors, the spirits, and then working with different elders. Students spend time with traditional Native elders and learn what it means to remember who they are in an indigenous tradition. And these are, well, that's a picture of Apila. And then these are two of the Hawaiian elders that were our teachers, Auntie Poipoi and Mr. Hale Makua, who both unfortunately have passed away. So in this program, where students are attempting to reclaim what our indigenous ancestors did, and that is to use our dreams as guides and to connect with our ancestors. So all of our ancestors did that. It's not like this is a new thing. It's just we've lost that connection in this Western world. So it's just about remembering that. And so this is a friend of mine, also graduate of the program. We went through the program together. My friend Venus Harbito. Her ancestors are from the Philippines, and we would dream weave together. Our stories and our dreams, connected. And that's actually what happened for all of us students, where we And when you're dreaming in community, you don't own the dream so much. You're dreaming for each other, with each other, and you develop that trust. Just like our ancestors did, they would share dreams. So I'm going to share actually a dream experience. This is actually a dream that Venus had. And this was after our first semester. And Mr. Makura, we met him in our first semester in Maui. And then he actually died in a car accident right after that. So Venus had this dream right after that where he came to her in the dream and told her, go to the San Francisco Main Library, go to the 3rd floor. So, and if an elder comes to you in your dream like that, that's just passed away, well, you want to do your best to honor that dream, especially if you're doing dream work. So Venus went. And good thing I had the camera. That's part of the work we do too. We're documenting our process constantly. And I went too. But Venus was very focused. She knew who our ancestors are and what she was doing. And I don't really know what part of my ancestry I'm going to research. I'm white, right? And I was not connected, did not actually have a positive view of which, I ended up researching my Celtic ancestors, but that wasn't a positive view. So I went along. And I said, well, okay, I'll look something up while I'm here. And I go to the computer. And this was actually sitting on the computer already. No one was around. Yeah, this happens to me a lot. And once again, good thing I had the camera. So, Annals of the Caledonians, Picts and Scots. So I thought, okay, I guess I got work to do. And I go up to the 3rd floor, and of course there's a display on Ireland. And right across from that, and I unfortunately didn't get the picture, but was a display on the Philippines. So on the 3rd floor, just like Mr. Mukut said, go to the San Francisco Main Library, go to the 3rd floor. Both of our ancestors were there speaking to us. And this is how, when you're really doing this dream work in community, and it's that dream weaving. You dream for each other, you work with each other, and the ancestors will talk to you and speak to you. And this is a dream I had right after that. I did this painting of the dream. I called the dream going on a boating trip to the Isle of Dracos with my friend Bear. And I'm not going to tell the dream. But what I came to know was, for me, the dream meant the Isle of Dracos was my Celtic ancestors going to Ireland and Scotland. And I knew that the stories connecting to the bear and the dragon, even because I was actually researching the stars and the constellations, and it connected there. So that's, yeah. Well, yeah, I was obsessed with Dracos, the dragon, the constellation, which actually wraps around the 2 bears, the Big and Little Dipper, Ursa Major, Ursa Minor, and so at the same time that I had that dream. So supposedly, it said that St. Patrick, one of the first things he did when he came to Ireland is he got rid of the snakes and then he went after the dragons. Well, first of all, there's no snakes in Ireland. So the snake represents that feminine goddess energy. The pagans and the Druids wore snake headdresses and necklaces. So this was the coming of the patriarchy. And yeah, that snake, the snake represents that Kundalini energy, the land, the feminine, which with the coming of the patriarchy was repressed. And then also, I guess, supposedly he banned different forms of divination as giving offerings to demons. And then this included the dreamers, the dream seers, who were also known as diviners. So the dreamers had to go underground too. They weren't honored any longer. Most people of European ancestry believe their culture is rooted in Christianity and are unaware of the tens of thousands of years of pre-Christian heritage and spirituality preceding the last 2 millennia of Christian experience. Christianity is relatively recent, and before it was the predominant religion in Western Europe, Most people practice a spirituality that wasn't expressed in sacred texts, but which arose out of the experience of being sensitive to the land and sky, to the changing seasons, to the power of the hills and rivers, to the mystery of the stars and the movements of the sun and moon.